you. If everyone could start taking their seats, please. We're going to get started very shortly.
Oh, I see him.
Okay, go get Ron. We will look for like a waiver.
It's getting quieter. No one's giving me a cue, so I'm just going to roll. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 Atlantic Book Awards Gala. It is our privilege and responsibility to start this evening by acknowledging the land on which we gather for the Atlantic Book Awards Festival. This event takes place in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We acknowledge the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognize that we are all treaty people. The Atlantic Book Awards Society also recognizes that African Nova Scotians are a distinct people whose histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched the part of Mi'kma'ki known as Nova Scotia for more than 400 years. My name is Lindsay Ruck, and I am delighted to be your host for this evening. I have a few housekeeping things to get through first. Some of you have had some drinks or you have drinks. I've just been asked to please keep the drinks within this area. This is still a public library and there are people out there, so if you happen to walk out and walk back in, you may come in with a few friends. So keep them here and we'll just keep it close to our little gathering. The other point is the washroom. Please go through these doors at the back and go straight, and then it's to your right as opposed to going all the way around, and you can also come back in the same way. Okay, we have a very special event planned for you this evening. We are pleased to once again be able to live stream tonight's award show, and people will be joining us from across Atlantic Canada, maybe around the world, who knows. So we want to extend a special invitation to those individuals. Just give a wave so they feel like they're part of the show right up there. Perfect. There we go. Thank you. And for those in the room, we encourage anyone who are taking pictures for this evening to please feel free to share them online with the hashtag Atlantic Book Awards. We have Bookmark Halifax here selling copies of tonight's nominated books if you'd like to browse and shop after the show. And we have had a packed week-long festival with a variety of events featuring this year's shortlisted authors and publishers, including some virtual events, which is always a great way to represent the Atlantic region, bringing us all together. That being said, our festival has taken place this year during a very challenging and heartbreaking time here in Nova Scotia. Our thoughts are with those impacted by the horrific wildfires in Nova Scotia. And we'd also like to take this time to acknowledge all of the first responders who are doing everything they can and working tirelessly to keep us all safe. Tonight, we are honored to have the winners of last year's Atlantic Book Awards as our special guests to introduce the remarkable authors and publishers shortlisted for the 6 different awards that make up this year's Atlantic Book Awards. Although not everyone could join us in person this evening, we are delighted to have all of the past winners involved in the gala, and that is, the screen will help us out to do that today. We will also get to enjoy a short excerpt from each winning title, which will be read by different representatives from our lovely literary community. They are 4 local booksellers, an acclaimed author, and a rising literary talent. Last but not least, the Atlantic Book Awards Society is holding a raffle this evening for the chance to win, I think they're right over there, one of 2 beautiful baskets of books. And each are filled with a selection of this year's nominated titles and more. Each basket is valued at $500, and you can purchase tickets during our reception later on tonight. They are $2 each. Yeah, $2 each or 3 for $5, so great deal. Proceeds from the raffle will support both the Atlantic Book Awards Society and the Red Cross Nova Scotia Wildfire Relief Fund. Okay, deep breath. Let's do this. The Alistair MacLeod Prize for Short Fiction was inaugurated in 2016 to honor the legacy of one of this region's and this country's most gifted and admired writers. Presenting this year's nominee via video is last year's winner, David Hubert, author of Chemical Valley. Let's take a look.
Hey everyone, I'm David Hubert, and I'm pleased to present the nominees for the 2023 Alistair MacLeod Prize for Short Fiction. First, we have Megan Rose Allen for The Summer the School Burned Down, independently published. We also have Bridget Canning, No One Knows About Us, published by Breakwater Books, and Elaine McCluskey, Raphael Has Pretty Eyes, published by Goose Lane Editions. The jury praises Megan Rose Allen's The Summer the School Burned Down as an evocative and charming collection of 15 short stories, covering topics from fantastical to gritty. Her use of language and prose is fresh, creative, and thought-provoking. Her characters pulsate with life and emotion. From the gut punch of a young Black man just walking down the street and the terrifying immediacy of being in a classroom at École Polytechnique on the 6th of December 1989, to a curse-writing suburban housewife and post-apocalyptic wolf children, these stories cover a wide range of topics, yet they all resonate with relatable human needs and desires and sizzle with originality. About Bridget Canning's No One Knows About Us, the jury says, this is a short fiction collection that consistently explores the dynamics of connection in the modern world, using diverse points of view, settings, and characters. With settings and language usage rooted in Newfoundland, thematically these selections lead us to consider all society. Using realistic and refreshing dialogue, characters who are at times eccentric but always believable, and surprising twists in plot, the author holds our attention and invites us to consider the possibilities, light and dark, in our social interactions. Told with elements of regionalism and touches of humor, the work is a captivating and honest look into the diverse elements that shape our world. And here's what the jury has to say about Elaine McCluskey's Raphael Has Pretty Eyes. In this collection of deep, eclectic, and detailed stories, McCluskey has created a vivid and descriptive portrait of those people we might easily overlook or who we might not normally pay attention to. Maritime places come alive and jump off these pages and into your heart. The prose is clear and precise and easy to picture. Some of the stories are darkly funny, and you might just laugh out loud, as McCluskey is very clever at writing parody and dry humor. McCluskey looks at the people we might want to forget with truthfulness, richness, and a thoughtfulness that we don't always consider. It is a pleasure to read through the interconnectedness and randomness of this silly life in these stories, which challenge the standard plot form and show that what you think will be will never be. Congratulations to all of this year's nominees.
And here to announce the winner is Alistair MacLeod's son, Alexander MacLeod, whose acclaimed collection of short stories, Animal Person, took home the Dartmouth Book Award for fiction this week at Nova Scotia Book Awards. Nicely done. Please welcome Alexander MacLeod.
As ever, on behalf of my mom, Anita MacLeod, and my brothers and my sister, we are grateful to this organization for naming this prize in honor of our dad and husband who cared so much about this genre and about this place. On Sunday, I had the great honor of holding a beautiful virtual chat with Megan and Bridget and Elaine, and it was just lovely to see them all together talking about the craft. And I don't know who the jury members are who picked these three titles, but there are three spectacular books, and I know that Dad would be proud of all of their achievements. But it is my honor to say that the Alistair MacLeod Short Story Prize for 2023 is awarded to Elaine McCluskey for Raphael Has Pretty Eyes.
I'm very excited. Thanks to the Atlantic Book Awards and the MacLeod family. I'm just humbled to be in a room with so much talent here tonight. And I'm honored to be celebrating the short story form which Alistair MacLeod perfected. I want to thank the amazing folks at Goose Lane. Julie is here tonight. Julie is the creative genius behind all the beautiful books at Goose Lane. And my amazing editor, Bethany Gibson, who made sure this collection was the best it could be. So thank you so much, and I accept this humbly and with great gratitude. Whoops. Okay.
Congratulations. And Alexander, yep, okay, you're still here. We're delighted to now have Alexander read an excerpt from Elaine's book.
So this is a real treat for me because I have been admiring Elaine's prose for many years, and as you'll see, this is a sizzler. Harold Fox picked a fine day to ride the bus. The city councilor was seated behind the driver, Ronnie Snooks, the local rep for the drivers' union. Ronnie had a creepy clown tattoo on his forearm, and his gray hair was agitated as though it had come around the corner of its underwear and found an intruder in the house. This driver used to be on the Coastal Run, a transit spokesperson told Harold with an implicit stare. We are optimistic that the 99 is a good fit for him. As a politician, Harold was used to pretending he knew things he didn't. Faces, names, why all the side windows of the bus were covered in black, and so he pretended that he knew about the, quote, Coastal Run, which was actually, quote, a low-stress rehabilitative route for drivers. He pretended the spokesperson had not said optimistic. Harold's seat was elevated like a throne, facing the door, and he nodded when an octogenarian hobbled on. The man had a cumulus cloud of white hair, which gave him an angelic air. Not that you could mention angels around seniors. Harold had made that mistake once. The old man wore steampunk glasses he didn't know were steampunk. "Isn't Ride a Bus Day terrific?" Harold asked with his usual pep. Because he had never been on a bus before, Harold didn't know that the senior was a regular and on parole for bank robbery, or that most buses were as predictable as flash floods or comets, and that some routes reeked of urine. Or that some of the drivers were somnambulists, numb to their surroundings, government clerks, students, teenage moms, and Marx's lumpen proletariat, that reserve army of labor who are surplus to the needs of production at any particular time.
So if we haven't yet read Elaine's book, we all want to read it now. After that, congratulations again. Our next award celebrates excellence in books for children and youth. The Anne Connor Brymer Award for Atlantic Canadian Children's Literature was established by the family of Anne Elizabeth Connor Brymer, a dedicated educator and Atlantic officer for the Canadian Children's Book Centre. Here with us this evening to help present the nominees is last year's winner of the Brymer, Chad Lucas, author of Thanks a Lot, Universe. Please welcome Chad.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here to celebrate the 2023 Anne Connor Brymer Award for Atlantic Canadian Children's Literature and some great nominees. The nominees this year are Nicola Davison for Decoding Gray, published by Nimbus Publishing. Vicki Grant, Tell Me When You Feel Something, published by Penguin Random House. And Joe Treggiari for Heartbreak Homes, published by Nimbus Publishing. About Decoding Gray, the jury had this to say. Nicola Davison invites us to soak in a coming-of-age story that explores hope in spite of loss, justice in the presence of cruelty, and the power of forgiveness. Dot's mother is ill, her father is distant, her abode has more animals than she invited in. She works in an animal shelter, loving the unwanted, even when, or especially when, it hurts. Davison's quirky Dot Gray wins readers over with her big heart and relatable uncertainty, while her lyrical writing and charming vocabulary allow them to relish in her play with language. The jury's citation for Tell Me When You Feel Something says it's a multiple perspective account of events leading up to and following the overdose of Vivian Braithwaite, a young woman with many secrets. Set within a medical school where teens are hired as actors to simulate patients for a training program, the author experiments with structure, shifting time, and points of view, all interspersed with police investigation reports. No one is on solid ground, as Grant takes the reader on a ride toward the truth, where people in Viv's world stop pretending and are forced to face the reality of Viv's coma. Tell Me When You Feel Something explores addiction, enabling, exploitation, abuse of power, rape, and betrayal. It is a cerebral story that holds up a mirror to our society, which allows these things to happen. Was this a case of attempted suicide, or something else altogether? And about the third shortlisted title, the jury said this. In Joe Treggiari's riveting mystery, Heartbreak Homes, a high school party that ends in the murder of a star athlete brings together three teenagers from very different circumstances, each with a stake in uncovering the killer. Told skillfully from Frankie, Martin, and Kara's alternating perspectives, Heartbreak Homes offers an empathetic portrayal of teens dealing with homelessness, wealth inequity, and the fallout of financial exploitation, all while moving at a page-turning pace that makes it hard to put down. This is an accomplished and timely YA whodunit with something to say. I hope you want to read them all now. Congratulations to all the nominees.
Chad, you're much taller than I am. Thank you. And here to announce this year's winner, we are honored to have Anne Connor Brymer's son, Gavin Brymer. Please welcome Gavin.
Well, thanks so much. I'm just thrilled to be here for what is the announcement of the 31st award. This is something that would make my mom so proud to see the evolution over 30 years of children's writing in Atlantic Canada. She was incredibly passionate about it, and it's my honor and my family's honor to be able to support this award going forward. So congratulations to this year's nominees and past nominees and winner. So I guess I've got the envelope to make the big announcement. So the winner of this year's 2023 award is Nicola Davis for Decoding.Gray. Congratulations to her. That's great. Congratulations.
My heart is beating so fast. Oh, I'm going to knock the microphone over. There we go. Oh. Donna, I went and said that I wasn't nervous anymore, and now I'm really, really nervous. Oh, thank you to the Brymer family, first of all. This is a wonderful honor. I also want to say a big, heartfelt thank you to Joe Treggiari. I'm not sure where you're sitting, but I'm just, I'm so honored to be in this class with you and Vicki Krant. I mean, wonderful books. As you know, I loved your book, so this is for all of us. I also want to thank my editor, Penelope Jackson, who was so wonderful in guiding me through with thoughtful questions during the editing process. My first readers, Sal Soller and Carol Bruneau, I don't know if they're here tonight. The team at Nimbus, my wonderful team at, I see Whitney sitting over there. Yay, Whitney. And I don't know, is Kate Watson here tonight? I don't know, it's her 5th anniversary of being at Nimbus and just getting the word out for our books, so thank you to Kate. And the independent booksellers who, you know, we've got Bookmark here tonight, and they do such wonderful work for us. Woozles as well, Blockshop Books, the Dartmouth Book Exchange, so many of them actually put the books in the hands of readers who might not otherwise know about regional writers. It's wonderful. A big, big thank you to my writing community, the Writers Federation of Nova Scotia, especially Marilyn Smulders, who's sitting up there. She's retiring this year. Oh, what you have done with the organization is amazing. And we're really going to miss you. Or I'd say I was going to miss you, but I know where you live, so I'm coming to see you anyway. The members of the Atlantic Book Awards Society who have been so busy. I know Marianne, one of my friends, I've seen her running around this past week at all the events, making sure everything works. It's wonderful. And my family. That's the reason I'm so nervous. My family is here tonight, and my heart is just going because they're here to witness my bumbling at the microphone. And, and last of all, I have to mention my dog, Jersey May, whose soundtrack of snoring has always been there for me to write to. And I wish she was here tonight. She'd be eating all of the snacks. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. We now have Sue Slade, manager of Dartmouth Book Exchange, here to read an excerpt from Nicola's book. Please welcome Sue.
Oh, I'm glad you're short, like me. So I brought my little reading buddy. I don't know if you can tell, it's a crow, it's Toby. All right, 12 dogs barking in a concrete room at 7 in the morning. Jack, a lab mix, wags furiously as I unlatch his door. None of the dogs wear collars, shelter policy. We use slip-on leash, one size fits all. Sometimes I have to sit with the shy ones and remind them that I'm not their previous owner before slipping the noose over their heads. Jack pushes his nose through the loop and drags me to the door. I spot Earl's truck pulling in just as I finish Jack's walk. A quick circuit of the sickly patch of grass, crunchy from its regular soaking of urine. After volunteering for years as a catnapper, Earl became an employee last year, a little top-up for the pension. On weekends, he still comes in, scoops up a needy cat, and falls asleep in the rocking chair in the back. Every one of his sweaters is plucked to a fuzzy mass across his chest. Dot, you're bright and early, he says, pouring a mug of coffee. I don't know about bright. Nobody left on the step this morning? I shake my head. Desperation must make people do it. Leave a dog tied to the handrail, or a sealed cardboard box of kittens, or a carrier containing an ancient cat panting inside. Sometimes there's a note. Our security video is grainy. I get to see them pull up. They feign casualness. Or they look everywhere like there might be a sniper on a nearby roof. Not a bad idea. Then they do it. Some dogs howl as the car drives off. One dog cried himself hoarse and then never barked again. Thank God. Earl pulls a carton of cream from his plastic bag. Enough grief on Wednesday. It's Euthanasia Day. A devious word, so soft, like a fond memory. My youth in Asia.
Thank you, Sue. The key criteria for the Atlantic Book Award for Scholarly Writing, sponsored by Marquee, is a work's likeliness to have a significant literary, social, and academic impact in the areas of social sciences and humanities, combining personal narrative and critical theory, exploring language and land, and the commitment to repositioning settler voice in the Western research culture of academic training. This year's books, while different, share common themes. Last year's winner, Ardith Wynett, author of Insurgent Love, Abolition, and Domestic Homicide, had planned to be with us this evening, but at the last minute wasn't able to join us. So stepping in to announce this year's nominees is Errol Sharp, publisher at Fernwood Publishing, who established the Scholarly Writing Award with his colleague Mike Hunter, publisher of CBU Press. Please welcome Errol.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure that I'm an adequate stand-in for Ardith, but I'll do my best. The nominees for the 2023 Atlantic Book Award for Scholarly Writing are Carol Ann, I forget this right, Derangeles, The Solitary Encounter, Women Activism, Creating Non-Colonizing Relations, published by UBC Press. Mark David Turner, Takuget Ali Ohatagit, somebody will have to teach me how to say that, on Inuit Cinema, published by Memorial University Press. Elizabeth Yeoman, Exactly What I Said, Translating Words and Worlds, published by the University of Manitoba Press. The jury citations say The Solitary Encounter, Women's Activism and Creative Non-Colonizing Relations is a study of solitary work for social justice between Indigenous women and white women in the Canadian context. DeAngelis writes as a white feminist scholar, activist, to offer a robust critique of the savior mentality of white women engaged in solitary work with Indigenous women. The book argues that non-colonizing forms of collaboration are possible between the two groups only if white women are willing to respect boundaries and take directions from Indigenous women. The Solitary Encounter is an empirical study that integrates theory, method, and evidence well. About Inuit Takule'Via Ohatagit on Inuit Cinema, the jury says, what editor Mark Turner makes clear as this is a book about Inuit cinema as told by and with Inuit filmmakers, media advocates, and producers, along with their collaborators, colleagues, and families. In a commitment to repositioning settler voice in the Western research culture of his academic training, Turner foregrounds Inuit voice in interviews with members of the Inuit cinema community. Presented in both Inuktitut and English, the interviews ensure the central role of Inuit voices in discussions of their cinema. Complementing the interviews are a list and description of significant events mentioned by interviewers in a section of representative film and cinema selection about and by Inuit. Here's what the jury had to say about exactly what I said. Translating Words and World, Elizabeth Yeoman offers an account of what she learned from a 10-year-old writing collaboration with Innu elder and activist Tshukashe Elizabeth Penshu. Combining personal narrative and critical theory, she explores language and land and the different expressions and experiences of these in Inuit and Anglo words and worlds. 9 theme-based chapters explore related topics of mapping, walking, stories, looking, signs, literacy, listening, songs, and wilderness in a purposeful response to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and its call for recognition of Indigenous knowledge and worldviews. Thank you. And the winner is Carol Lynn Angeles, The Solitary Encounter, Women, Activists, and Creating Non-Colonizing Relations.
Thank you, Errol. And Carolyn had also planned to be with us this evening, but was unable to join due to an unfortunate canceled flight from Newfoundland. We are, however, pleased to share a video from Carolyn recorded earlier today.
Well, this is amazing. What a surprise. And I wanted to start out by saying that I'm here in Newfoundland, on the island of Newfoundland, which is Ukadaunguk in the Mi'kmaq language. And yeah, I'm just really, really honored to receive this award. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but the RDF got in the way, rain, drizzle, fog. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. And I'm just an incredible company, so I really, it was an honor to be shortlisted, and it's an honor to win this award. I just want to say thanks to the Atlantic Book Awards organization, for finding my book. And I also just wanted to mention that I've dedicated the book to my mom, who passed away before it could come to fruition, and also to Lee Miracle, who the Stolo Métis scholar, artist, author, who many of you I'm sure know. She was pivotal from the start. She kind of asked me some really tough questions, and so got this off the ground, and also I wanted to thank the participants who I interviewed. So I interviewed 13 white women and 11 white women and 13 Indigenous women. And I wish I was there to celebrate with you. Anyway, thank you so much. Take care.
Definitely using RDF in a conversation at some point, because that was brilliant. Congratulations, Carolyn, and thank you, Errol. We are pleased to welcome Molly Rookwood, owner of Rookwood Editing and bookseller at King's Co-op Bookstore, here to read an excerpt from Carol Ann's book. Please welcome Molly.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of the nominees and especially Carol Lynn. Now from the Solidarity Encounter. This book is about the everyday self-other relationships of political solidarity in a particular setting, the solidarity encounter between Indigenous women and feminists and white women and feminists in the Greater Toronto Area. Maori Scots scholar Makeri Stewart Harawira has been a guiding beacon throughout my research journey, as has, more recently, the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. Its final report is unequivocal: finding self-determined solutions for addressing the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and 2S LGBTQIA people means conceptualizing rights as founded in all relationships and understanding that at the center of it all, we begin with our relationships to each other. I have long been determined to expose Solidarity's relational pitfalls, that is, to figure out what remains colonial about intersubjective, self-other dynamics in solidarity work, but always with the goal of enhancing its possibilities. To do that, in this book, I concentrate on one side of the self-other equation, white settler women's self-making projects, or the ways we form our identities and make sense of being white women in solidarity spaces. I soon realized that illuminating these self-making processes required the perspectives of both white women and Indigenous women. The result is a qualitatively based theory of intersubjective relations in the solidarity encounter from my vantage point as a white feminist scholar activist. With this intervention into theory, I humbly offer an intervention into practice. I look at what has gone wrong and right in solidarity encounters can be a precursor to further non-colonizing relations. Thank you.
Thank you. The J.M. Abraham Atlantic Poetry Award is named in memory of Father Joseph Murray Abraham, a missionary and humanitarian and a prolific writer. It is administered by the Writers' Federation of Nova Scotia. Here is last year's winner, Alida Faber, author of Poisonous If Eaten Raw.
Here are the poets and books shortlisted for the 2023 J.M. Abraham Atlantic Poetry Award. Luke Hathaway, The Affirmations, published by Biblioasis. Nancy Lee, Sheen, published by Brick Books. Anik McCaskill, Shadow Blight, published by Gaspereau Press. Regarding the affirmations, here's what the jury has to say. Laced through with an exciting and original lyricism, The Affirmations is a transcendent reading experience. Luke Hathaway has succeeded in realizing that most rare of works, a book of poetry that is intelligent, serious, playful, and yearning. The poems in the affirmations are inspired by and pay tribute to classical ideas and forms, but seem entirely new and energetic. The music of voice and personhood sing strong in these poems. Here's what the jury has to say about Sheen. Nancy Lee's incredible poetry collection captures the heart-mind and lost palindrome of longing that serve as partial translations of the titular Chinese word Sheen. With powerfully playful, formal flexibility and innovation, this cohesive serial long poem, as we might call it, delivers emotional depth and breadth in its exploration of what it means to be alive and wondrous and wondering in this world. Through the lenses of mixed race, Chinese Syrian identity, adoption, and existential curiosity, Nancy Lee asks the questions that can occupy us all when we are our most pensive selves. Who are you? What do you obey? How will you prepare for your death? And always there is an undercurrent of what is lost, what we mourn, and how we elegize those things we can no longer see or hold or remember. The jury's citation says, "Shadow Blight sets a gifted poet's keen lyrical imagination and well-honed technique to the challenging work of creatively parsing grief, specifically that of pregnancy loss. It's a work that proves fruitful and helps us move toward an understanding of both how good we were, are, and how awful we were, are. This taut collection weaves together a rich and precise, yet nuanced tapestry, a new language of loss. By invoking and rewriting classical myth and juxtaposing it alongside deeply personal contemporary experience. Refusing simplicity of language, idea, or diction, these poems and their movement embrace pain and explore its ebbs and flows across imagino-poetic canvases, both ancient and of the moment. The resulting sequence of poems is a beautifully harsh lexicon that asks questions of what are we learning? What keeps us here? Congratulations to this year's finalists. And the winner is Nancy Lee Sheen.
Like gobsmacked. I was so moved by all of the beautiful captures of these beautiful books. I'm just so honored to be in the company of friends whose poetry I so admire. And thank you. Thank you to the Atlantic Book Awards. I love how you've lifted up the bookstores, the independent bookstores that we so love. And you know, Nova Scotia was a place where this is my first book, and I couldn't think of a better place to grow up as a poet, to come, you know, to be held, to be so warmly held in the Writers' Federation of Nova Scotia was a big part of that. I want to thank the J.M. Abraham family and award. my Brick Books and my editor, John Barton. And I want to also actually lift up a fellow nominee because Anik is someone who has really actually lifted me up as a poet, really, just helped me celebrate myself as a poet. And I feel like that's what this community of writers do. So once again, so honored and thrilled. Thank you.
Congratulations, Nancy Lee. I'm very excited to introduce our next reader. Demini Owega is a 15-year-old grade 10 student living in Halifax, Nova Scotia. She is an activist, writer, spoken word poet, singer, art illustrator. Did I forget anything? Okay. But wait, there's more. Demini is also one of Halifax Regional Municipality's first Youth Poet Laureates, serving as a literary ambassador for youth in HRM. How cool is that? Congrats on that. Yeah. Through her tenure in this position, Demini will seek to inspire and engage local youth to share their stories through written and spoken word, with mentorship provided by the municipality's current poet laureate, Sue Goyette. Demini will now read an excerpt from Nancy Lee's book.
Thank you, Lindsay, for the introduction, and congratulations, Nancy Lee, on your book. So I will be reading Happy. You told me that I was not happy, or not someone you thought of as happy, and I sensed that it came from love or something wanting to be near it. I struck back when what I wished I'd said was that young Siglana from Tiaga Forest walked miles at -34 to get help for her grandma. It was early dawn, and sun and moon still mingle. She was 4 and alone. Along frozen banks, no fear of wolves. Nothing but a tight fist of matches. Trekking tundra and carrying fire, that I am here. And words turn me back into song, throat song. Some lit thing, near is all if you asked. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Demini. Tonight is the conclusion of a week-long festival of book events in the region. On Saturday, June 3rd, the winners of the New Brunswick Book Awards were announced at a ceremony in St. John. On Monday night, the Nova Scotia Book Awards took place in a very rainy Dartmouth. Very rainy. Some of tonight's nominees were also nominated for these other provincial awards, and in the spirit of celebrating great books from across the Atlantic provinces, it is now my turn to read some names and share with you the winners of those provincial awards. For the New Brunswick Book Awards, the winners are as follows. Kelly Cooper, author of Midnight and Moon, illustrated by Daniel Miyares, published by Tundrum, won the Alice Kitts Memorial Award for Excellence in Children's Writing. Sue Sinclair, author of Almost Beauty, New and Selected Poems, published by Goose Lane Editions, won the Fiddlehead Poetry Book Prize. Lee D. Thompson, author of A Pastoral, A Mistopia, published by Corona Samsdat, won the Mrs. Dunster's Award for Fiction. And James Mullinger, author of Brit Happens, or Living the Canadian Dream, published by Goose Lane Editions, won the Writers' Federation of New Brunswick Nonfiction Award. And as mentioned, the Nova Scotia Book Awards were Monday night, and I heard it was so good they actually had to turn off the lights to get you to leave. So that's the sign of a good party, right? And these are the winners of the Nova Scotia Book Awards. The Maxine Tynes Nova Scotia Poetry Award went to Sylvia D. Hamilton for Tender, published by Gasbro Press, yes. The Evelyn Richardson Nonfiction Award went to L. Jones for Abolitionist Intimacies, published by Fernwood Publishing. The Dartmouth Book Award for Fiction went to Alexander MacLeod for Animal Person, published by McClellan and Stewart. The George Borden Writing for Change Award went to elder sister Dorothy Moore for A Journey of Love and Hope, published by Nimbus Publishing. And the Margaret and John Savage First Book Award for Nonfiction went to Mandy Renahan for The Blue Collar CEO, published by HarperCollins. Congratulations to all of the winners. The Atlantic Book Awards Society established the Atlantic Legacy Award in order to honor those who have made a strong, lasting contribution to the development of the literary arts in Atlantic Canada. People who have gone above and beyond the call of duty and who have provided opportunity and inspiration for those sharing Atlantic Canadian stories through writing and publishing. Here to present this year's Atlantic Legacy Award is Donna Morrissey, the beloved Newfoundland author who first received the Rattle in 2003 for her novel Downhill Chants, then in 2006 for Sylvan's Now, and 2017 for The Fortunate Brother, who was also a finalist for the award in 2000 and 2003. Whew, that is impressive. Please welcome Donna.
Hi, everybody. And I was 40 years old when I started writing, and I was 40 years old when I first heard of the Thomas Rattle Literary Award. And I heard of it the same day that I was shortlisted for it with my first novel, Kit's Law. $10,000. Well, I nearly fainted. And that there was such an award, and I was nominated for it. And of course, my competitor was Alistair MacLeod. No great mischief. I gotta say, my purse was the same weight going home as it was when I came. But I've been blessed several times with this award, and I tell you, it's not one you're ever gonna get tired of winning. Never mind the literary value. Let's talk the financial value. People forget we're business people. The award is now $30,000. Yeah. Where's Tom? So we live in a society where the top 1% receives most of the world's money. We know that, right? But it ain't just the corporate sector. It's all down through. It's the music world, the sports, Hollywood actors. Everybody has their 1%, and in books, it's the same. We have our 1%, our Stephen Kings, our Maggie Atwoods, and whatever. And there's the 10% below the 1% that net most of the overflow. And by the time it trickles down to us, Marilyn, I hope you got some taxi chits for us to get home tonight. It's difficult to articulate the vital role, quite seriously, that this award plays in the life of the chosen authors. It puts us, probably not up with the 1%, but it puts us on the playing field. For 1 year, we are able to sit home and do it. And of course, the prestige that it places on our work, the validation, the joy, and the pride. And we celebrate another thing, too. This is the most generous literary award in Canada, supported by a family and not a corporation or foundation. And we all take great pride in that. I love saying that to people. And 24 years, I think, this award has now been going. And I'm told the endowment has almost $1 million in it, ensuring that this award will be recognized long after we stop writing here in this room. I've met most of the Rattles. Where are they? Where's Tom? Oh, Jesus, why come you're not up front here? I would have thought you would have been prima. Anyway, I've met most of you. And Tom, of course, our darling Tom, Pam. And now we got the young Tom taking the reins. And Tom, we've heard many stories about your father talking about his father. I think it's time we heard from you and your tales of him. And know this, from the bottom of my heart and the heart of every author sitting in this room tonight, and those who have yet to be nominated and dreams of being so, we say to you, thank you.
I didn't know you were going to be here tonight, Donna. I got to get a hug later. My sister Debbie. Also joining us tonight are Debbie's husband, Clary, and Matthew, who is actually managing the endowment now. Clary's back there. And my wife, Kathy, in the corner over there. We're hiding, but it's okay. I made some notes so I wouldn't forget anything, and I'll be brief. It's certainly my pleasure to be here and receiving this award on behalf of my father and Debbie's father. He passed away a year ago, June 3rd. We miss him dearly. He would have been both honored and humbled to be here tonight, and certainly to be recognized for doing what was frankly instinctive to him. His goal was to ensure that his father's hard work and his legacy would not be forgotten, and we think he got it right. After creating the award, he also funded the addition on the Queens County Museum in Liverpool, which includes a research center, something he never had. And when some of you were there last night, and thank you all for coming to Liverpool, we really appreciate that. He also created a Radall Symposium at Acadia University. But this award was certainly his pride and joy. He wanted it to be significant enough to be a game changer for writers. And Donna's in my remarks. Donna stated after winning the award, and I'll paraphrase the quote, "The Radall Award was a sign I'd gone the right way." And it wasn't just a personal triumph. It conveyed a message to what writers do in Atlantic Canada is deeply important. We are not just entertainers. We are contributing to our culture in important ways. And when I feel discouraged or tired, just looking at the medallion energizes me all over again. Now, my father would not want me to stand up here and blither on about him, if you know him at all. So I'll simply suggest you read Alexander MacLeod's article of The Gift of Time, because truly it sums up the Radall family's commitment to the writers of this region, and he does a beautiful job. In closing, I'd like to thank the Atlantic Book Award Society, certainly the Writers Federation of Nova Scotia for the nomination, and Marilyn in particular for all that you do. And to the writers out there, keep up the good work and follow your dreams. Thank you.
Congratulations to the Rattle family, and I'll just echo what Donna said and said thank you very much. The Atlantic Publishers Marketing Association Best Atlantic Published Book Award. My goodness, these are long names. Sponsored by Friesens Corporation, goes to an Atlantic Canadian publisher whose book best exemplifies excellence and achievement in publishing in Atlantic Canada during the previous year. The author of the winning title also receives a cash prize. The jury for this award considers all of the elements involved in getting the book in the hands of the readers. Here to present the APMA award is Ron Such of Friesens Canada. Please welcome Ron.
They wouldn't trust me with the check. I'll get it, though. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see everyone in person again instead of on Zoom. I'm getting a little bit old, and I live by my calendar on my phone, and I was in my office. I work out of my house. I was in my office Sunday night organizing this week, and I looked at my phone, and I thought, I'm not going to Moncton this week, am I? Because I think that's where we're all supposed to be tonight. And I'm glad to be in Halifax. I made it to the right place. Anyway, the nominees for the 2023 APMA Best Atlantic Published Book Award are, and there's 3 of them, Goose Lane Editions with the Beaverbrook Art Gallery of Wabanaki Modern by Emma Hassan-Call-Purley and John LaRue, Flanker Press for Operation Masonic by Helen C. Escott, and Boulder Books for Food, Culture, Place, Stories, Traditions, and Recipes of Newfoundland. It's quite a title. By Laurie McCarthy and Marcia Tulk. Here's what the jury had to say about the Goose Lane Editions book. Wabanaki Modern is a trilingual celebration of the Mi'kmaq Art Cooperative inspired by traditional Wabanaki stories. The story of how the artists came together at a critical time in Wabanaki art history is accomplished by flowing descriptive text in English, French, and Mi'kmaq, offering stunning visuals and detailed analysis of the scope, courage, tenacity, and Wabanaki artists who contribute to flourish today. This gorgeous book accompanies a major expedition and documentary film of the same name, showcasing the eclectic change of modern Wabanaki art design featured on silkscreen note cards, jewelry, tapestry, beautiful prints, and English porcelain, while weaving together the stories of the artists who were instrumental in establishing the modern Indigenous art movement. The production values of this timely retrospective truly impressed the jury, who all agreed it was beautiful, of historical and cultural significance, and a crucial contribution to the Canadian identity. Here's what the jury had to say about Food, Culture, Place. It is the most elusive of projects, a coffee table book that you could use in your kitchen. The jury found this book a winner on every account. Stunning photography, culturally valuable stories and recipes, some grand promotional opportunities, and a smart publishing strategy. The book delivers exactly what the title promises, and it's a joy to behold. Even if you don't cook, this book is a treasure for its language and storytelling, the mingling of cultures through history and their common connection in food. And the last nominee, Operation Masonic, the jury had to say, get ready to be entertained, terrified, and amused. Once you open this book, you'll be transported to a world of ancient secrets, scandals, and murders through the adventurous pen of Helen C. Escott, who will take you on a hunt for the killer. Operation Masonic is an intriguing, fast-paced, and full of action crime thriller with a complex story plot surrounded by centuries of secrets and unexpected twists, keeping with the traditions of a great mystery novel that it combines ancient history, secret societies, and hidden symbols. This engaging and well-written page-turner will appeal to any reader who appreciates a good crime thriller. With a smart author-led marketing that showcased the book across Canada, a great cover and production value, this is a book that truly celebrates the business of publishing. Congratulations to all of the nominees, and the winner is... And the winner is Goose Lane Editions with the Beaverbrook Art Gallery, Wabanaki Modern. There you are, John. Congratulations. Congratulations.
And printed by Friesens, no less. Thank you all so much. I'd really like to obviously acknowledge the beautiful work by my good friend and colleague, Julie Scriver here from Goose Lane. We're so lucky to have them here in Atlantic, Canada. And I know they've published a lot of books here over the years. Some have won awards, some haven't. But I mean, it's just to be part of the ecosystem of this place is such an honor. And I know the culture here is so alive and vibrant now, and so much is because of our publishers here. So I'd like to just thank you all so much for raising us up together. I want to give acknowledgement to my co-author, Emma Hassan-Salperli of Tobic First Nation in New Brunswick, who wasn't able to be here today, but we went on this journey together. We started before COVID in 2019 to kind of re-immerse ourselves in this incredible artistic collective of Elsipogtog. At the time, it was the poorest Indigenous community in Canada, in Kent County in New Brunswick, and at the time it was known as Big Cove. And you had these group of incredibly talented, but at the time considered sort of untrained artists that created some of the first modern Indigenous artists in Canada, and telling these stories thousands of years old, and creating a national and international audience. And it was amazing in the work that they had there at Expo. They were the first wave of modern art in Canada for Indigenous artists. And then they were forgotten from the 1970s on for a bunch of circumstantial reasons. And just one story that I will say about this, which made me, and certainly with Emma, realize this was a calling that was so important to tell about. We were doing some research on a set of hooked rugs we were trying to track down. We didn't know where they were. They said the story of Glooscap at the time in the Legend of the Seasons and the Wild Goose. And we went to UNB in Fredericton because we thought they might be there. We went to the Mi'kmaq Wolastoqey Institute, which was employed by some of the leading Indigenous scholars and academics in the province. And we found the hooked rugs were there. They were made in the 1960s, and they were there on the walls. And we asked the people working, there was a specific woman named Star Simon, who was actually from Elsipogtog, and said, do you know about these? And she had no idea about what they were. She knew they were there. And we started talking to her about them. I said, these are by Michael Francis of Elsipogtog, done in the 1960s. And she started to cry. We're like, what, are you okay? And she said, that's my grandfather. And I had no idea these were his. They were just rugs on the walls. And she said he was the most important person in her life, and she couldn't believe it. She'd been working in this office for 3 or 4 years with her grandfather right behind her and didn't know. And it meant so much. And I think for us just to uncover these stories and to share them together, the translation of the book was done by women from Elsipogtog, these elders whose ancestors actually worked and were some of the designers. So it was a real collaborative effort of community. And just look, thank you so much. And the exhibition is touring in Maine right now. And the film has won several awards at film festivals in the US. And it's just a pleasure to bring to life the stories of these wonderful elders from New Brunswick that were just geniuses in art and of culture. And anyway, thank you so much. Thank you to Goose Lane, and it's just a pleasure working with you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll just add to that on behalf of the entire team at Goose Lane that publishing is really a collaborative enterprise. We've talked a lot about community this evening, and this experience, this wonderful anecdote that John just shared with you is all about discovering community. And for me, what I hold really dear in my heart about publishing is that it's bringing stories to life and bringing them to community, and having the opportunity to reflect our stories back to one another and to share them with a broader audience and grow that community and grow that collaboration. And so in terms of
this wonderful prize, Best Published Book. I mean, that too is a collaborative enterprise. We couldn't do what we do without authors, of course, without a wonderful team, without all of the editors, the acquiring editors, the people who work behind the scenes that most people don't know exist. And then, of course, the booksellers and the media, and Jeff, who manages our marketing, who is responsible for everything that happens after a book gets delivered from the printer. So all of these relationships feed into this wonderful community of making public the stories that we share and that we love. So thank you to all of you for the part that you play in that.
I don't know what's in the little bags, but Heather said you only get one, so you're going to have to fight amongst yourselves to share it. We're delighted to have bookseller Allison Murray from Carrefour Atlantic Emporium to read an excerpt from Goose Lane Editions' book. Please welcome Allison.
This might sound slightly familiar, as it was just portrayed, but I will say it again. In the summer of 2019, John LaRue and I began our research at the Micmac Indian Craftsman, the MIC. A 1965 Daily Gleaner article said that there were woven tapestries designed by their lead designer, Michael Francis, hanging on the walls of the University of New Brunswick Teachers College, now occupied by the Mi'kmaq Wolastoqey Center, the MWC. So we went one afternoon to see if they were still there. Upon our arrival to the MWC, a staff member asked if we needed any help, but we could see the tapestries on the walls, all of them over 50 years old and heavily faded from the sun exposure. We explained to the staff that we had come looking for more information on the tapestries and the MIC, which they hadn't heard of. Starlet Simon, originally from Elsipogtog and working as the Indigenous Student Advisor at the MWC, was on the telephone in her office, but overheard us. She took a moment to tell us she regrettably did not know anything about the tapestries or who made them. We stood outside of Star's office, chatting with MWC's staff about our research, the artist Michael Francis, and the successes of the MIC. Then Star rushed out of her office and asked, "Did you just say Michael Francis of Elsipogtog? That's my grandpa." John explained the project again, telling her that Michael Francis is critical to this story. He pointed to the aged tapestries that line the office walls and the MF signatures on the corners of the works. Star became overwhelmed with disbelief, tears, excitement, and then laughter. Filled with emotion, she gestured to the tapestries and explained that I've been coming into work for the past 3 years and I didn't know these were his.
Thank you very much, Allison. Okay, Donna did an excellent job hyping up this next award, so now we've come to it. Valued at $30,000, the Thomas Rattle Atlantic Fiction Award is the largest literary prize in Atlantic Canada and one of the largest in the country. This prestigious award is intended to provide writers the gift of time and peace of mind, which we could all use. It is administered by the Writers' Federation of Nova Scotia. To present this year's nominees via video is the winner of the 2022 Rattle Award, Michelle Butler-Hallett, author of Constant Nobody.
Hi, my name is Michelle Butler-Hallett. I'm in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, and I'm the 2022 winner of the Thomas Rattle Atlantic Fiction Award. Just a few words on what this has meant to me, which has been a lot. I've had about a year now of the mental freedom of just being able to concentrate on my works in progress and come up with 3 more book ideas. So yeah, it has actually meant the world. And I won't lie, the validation is always nice too. You know, there's the little girl guy in me who's like, "Oh, I earned a badge, woohoo!" So thank you. So here are the nominees for the 2023 Thomas Rattle Atlantic Fiction Award. We have K.R. Bigden for Wonder World, Enfield and Wazenti. Bobby French for The Good Women of Safe Harbor with HarperCollins. and Lisa Moore for This Is How We Love, House of Anansi. Now, about Wonderworld, the jury says, Wonderworld is a refreshing coming-of-age story that challenges the stereotypes of rural life. Meet a struggling Isaac Funk as he returns to his prairie roots to face the family that drove him out of town 10 years earlier. In this, their first novel, K.R. Bigden has created a wisecracking queer antihero who blunders his way to self-discovery and joy. As funny and sassy as it is poignant and observant, Wonderworld is a virtuoso exploration of love and hope, a story of building bridges to family and community while staying true to oneself. Here's what one jury member has to say about the good women of Safe Harbor. From the idyllic setting by the Newfoundland Sea, The Good Women of Safe Harbor offers a masterfully crafted, graceful, and compassionate story of female friendship, abiding love, hope, forgiveness, healing, and the end of life. Through the unforgettable voice of Frances Delaney, who was facing the end of her so-called small, solitary life, Bobby French's intertwining of heartbreaking and hilarious is nothing short of spectacular and advances a profound, satisfying, and rewarding experience for the reader. An absolutely engaging and unforgettable novel, I could not put it down. Regarding This Is How We Love, the jury says, brushstrokes and light. In This Is How We Love, Lisa Moore paints with language. Impression by impression, this ambitious novel reveals characters' inner and outer lives. When a crisis draws the characters together, Moore deftly shows how these inner and outer lives are entangled, perhaps inseparable. Multiple narrative perspectives and scraps of backstory then work like tiles in a mosaic. As we gain perspective on the larger picture, the novel sparks recognitions for both characters and reader. Recognitions of not just the big questions, fate or free will, choice or destiny, but of how one's past can write one's present. Wisely, Lisa Moore doesn't pretend to have the answers. Instead, she shows us what it means to be human, what it means to love. Warm congratulations to this year's nominees.
Okay. Tom is clearly pumped to give away some money because he's already down here. So I'll invite him to the stage to announce the winner.
Congratulations to all of the nominees, of course, and certainly the nominees in the past and the award winners in the past and present are a who's who of Atlantic Canadian authors. And the winner of this year's Rattle Award is K.R. Bigden.
I didn't know last night, I tell you. Well done. That's yours.
Just 1 second. Hello. First of all, thank you so much to the Atlantic Book Awards for this incredible honor, and also to my fellow nominees, Bobby French and Lisa Moore, such great company to be in. Thank you also to the Rattle family for making this prize possible. I was recently accepted to the University of Guelph's MFA program, which is both exciting and really expensive news. So your financial support tonight will have a major impact on my ability to sustain myself over the next few years. Thank you. There are so many folks who made Wonderworld possible. While writing this book, I had the tremendous privilege of participating in the 2019 Writers Federation of Nova Scotia's Alistair MacLeod Mentorship Cohort, as well as the Banff Center's Emerging Writers Intensive. I'm grateful for all the guidance, care, and camaraderie I received in both of these excellent programs. Thank you to everyone who offered me feedback and encouragement throughout the writing process, and to the publishing team at Enfield and Wisenti, hi in Winnipeg, for seeing the potential in this story and helping me share it with readers across Canada and the United States. Most of all, thank you to my spouse, Marie Rennard. You've always seen the storyteller in me, and it's because of you that I've been able to follow this dream. The greatest act of creation I've been a part of, the one I'm most proud of, is the life that we build together every day. Finally, to the jury, thank you for this recognition of my work. Now, more than ever, we need more stories of queer and trans joy. In the face, thank you, yes, we do. In the face of ignorance and oppression that seeks to erase us from history and the present moment, we will not be silent and we will never disappear. To those of you in the audience who do not identify as two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, we need you too. We need you to be loud and firm in denouncing the politics of hatred and division that are on the rise across the US, the UK, and here in Canada too. When I think about the future of Atlantic fiction, I am so excited to witness the daring and dazzling words yet to flow from the minds, hearts, keyboards, and pens of the many emerging and established 2S LGBTQ+ writers who call this part of Turtle Island home. I hope tonight serves as a reminder that our stories matter, that you matter, and that, like Isaac Funk and his hometown of Newfield, you make every community across our region better and more beautiful with your presence. Wlaliuk, thank you very much.
Congratulations. We are thrilled to have bookseller Mike Ham from Bookmark here to read an excerpt from K.R. Bigden's book. Please welcome Mike.
Congratulations, KR. Congratulations to all the nominees. Thank you for inviting me, Award Society. It's a real honor to be a part of this enchanted family of Atlantic Canadian literature. It truly is. Thank you. In chapter 6, Isaac Funk recounts the incident at the school dance 10 years earlier that led him to being separated from Father Abe, his family, and his church. Abe was there too. He volunteered to stand around looking mildly miserable, checking purses and jackets for contraband. This included, apparently, not only drugs and booze, but also condoms, and according to a few of the girls, any provocative shades of lipstick he came around. I was mortified and did my best to ignore him the whole night. At some point, I left for a discreet smoke break, and Noah Ems followed me out. "Can I have one?" he asked, gesturing to my cherry-flavored Captain Blacks. "Sure," I said, grinning at this adorable act of late-stage rebellion. I knew how to let loose when the adults weren't looking, but Noah was the most straight-laced kid in my grade. He never once badmouthed a teacher, skipped class, or cut in front of someone on pizza day, and he most definitely did not attend any of our weekend bush parties. Noah was totally gay, but so deeply closeted, he was practically in Narnia. He probably thought no one noticed how the tips of his ears would turn bright red whenever another boy got too close in gym, or when our band teacher, the one with the perpetually half-buttoned dress shirts, leaned over his music stand to answer a question and gave our class a glimpse of his sexy chest fur. Except I noticed because I was playing the same game he was. In fact, Noah was the only queer curious classmate I hadn't managed to make out with by the end of grade 12. It was kind of a disappointment, actually. So imagine my surprise and delight when the final holdout on my booty bingo card wanted to bum one of my smokes. "Nice speech earlier," he offered, chewing on a chapped lip. "You must be pretty excited about Halifax, eh?" "For sure," I said, no looking back. He nodded, eyes never quite meeting mine. We lingered outside, The lighter kept going out in his shaking hands, even though there was no wind. He'd obviously never done this before. Finally, I put him out of his misery, took the cigarillo and lit it for him. When I tried to pass it back, though, Noah didn't take it. I noticed he was kind of staring at me then, trembling a little. I asked him what was wrong. We were close. I could feel his breath on my cheek, and then he pulled me towards him. Everything was suddenly all fingers and tongues and flesh skin, and it was amazing. It was the best, it was perfect, until it wasn't. Because he was there somehow, Abe, calling my name, pulling us apart, dragging me home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, and congratulations again, KR. We did it. That's it. We extend our don't get too excited. We extend our heartfelt congratulations to all the nominees of the 2023 Atlantic Book Awards, and we applaud this year's winners. It brings us such joy to have you all here to partake in the celebration, and we'd also like again to express our gratitude to those who connected through live stream. Let's give them one last wave. Good night. Yes. We're so glad you could join us virtually as well. Now, we got a nice taste of some of the books, so don't forget to purchase your raffle tickets for a chance to win one of 2 baskets of books and support 2 great causes at the same time. Visit our booksellers from Bookmark Halifax right over here to purchase as many of the award-nominated books as you can. And many of the authors are here, so you could also get your autographs right now, so it's perfect timing. Core funding for the Atlantic Book Awards and Festival comes from the Canada Book Fund of the Department of Canadian Heritage. The nonprofit Atlantic Book Awards Society is grateful to our sponsors and supporters and wishes to extend particular thanks to Atlantic Book Today, Halifax Public Libraries in this beautiful space, and the Writers' Federation of Nova Scotia, as well as the Cabot Trail Writers Festival, the Delmore Buddy Day Learning Institute, the Lunenburg School of the Arts, the Nexus Center for Humanities and Social Sciences Research at Memorial University, and Queens County Museum. Thank you to the 6 sets of jurors who worked hard to select this year's shortlists and winners. And it's a lot of work. They do love books, but it's a lot of work reading all of those books, so we're very appreciative to them. We'd also like to thank Bookmark Halifax, our ASL interpreter, Monica Clark, who's done an amazing job. Yes? Also, thank you to our musician, the lovely music you enjoyed as you came in. That was Manuel, so thank you so much. And thank you to our presenters and our readers. We really appreciate it. It was a full cast tonight, so thank you all for joining me. And I'm going to go off script for 1 second because Heather wrote the script, but I'd also like to give a huge shout out to Heather, who has been steering this ship. This is not just one night, it is a festival, and there are a lot of moving pieces and a lot of logistics, and I know that Heather has done so much. So thank you to you and to your team for all you've done. Okay, I've clearly worn the wrong shoes this evening, so I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to say thank you all for attending tonight. Please get home safe. Keep reading Atlantic Canadian books. Good night, everyone.